Hello. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the meeting. My name is Maddie, and I am your new customer service manager, and I am extremely excited to be able to join this team. And I thought before we get started in this introduction meeting that I would share a little bit about myself and who I am. I know this is a big transition for everyone. So, a little bit about me is I am 28 years old. I have two little boys who keep me pretty busy. And I love watching true crime documentaries, drawing, and watching anime with my husband. Previously, before being with this company, I was a supervisor in another company. And I thought I'd share with you a little bit about my top personal values that are extremely important to me. They are kindness, humor, honesty, and creativity. And this is how I like to lead my teams. And this is what I hold high in myself personally, as well as others. What is most important about building a team is that we can trust each other and lead with kindness. And so I would like to share a personal story of an experience of mine. Now, when I was becoming a new supervisor in that previous company, it was something brand new and I had never tried it before. It was very scary. And I originally had started at this company in an entry level position. And I worked myself up over the 3 years to be in that supervisor role. However, previously I was more on the technical side and I felt very confident and I could do it very well. But going into this management role, I was going more into the administrative side. And that was kind of scary since I had grown previously confident. And I would have to learn something completely new in this role. And I knew going into that management position, I would no longer be just worried about taking care of my role, but others and making sure I was setting a good example. So during this time, when I was going through this transition, we had a protocol where I had a doctor's complaint. And when we had a complaint, we were required to get this in and done by 5 days to be able to meet timeline and timeliness different deadlines that we had for audit purposes. Now, when doing this form, you had to complete a separate form that helped be able to make sure that that was done in that time frame. Well, I realized I hadn't did it correctly. And I really wasn't sure at the beginning exactly what the time frame was or how to count the specific days because it was based off of business days and it was during a holiday. So I didn't know if we counted the holiday or we didn't. So with counting the holiday, I would have been over 5 days and I really wasn't sure. So I was faced with a really hard decision of what I needed to do. I had two options. One, I could not tell anyone and I could just call the doctor back and go about my business and just hope that it never came up in an audit. Or I could tell my manager and be honest, take responsibility, and if there were consequences, ask for help and fix my mistake. Now, remember, I was just transitioning into this role. So, again, just like many of you, this was a new management. I didn't know what to be expected of what to do. But there was only one choice in my book, and I chose option two. And I learned a lot from this experience. One, I learned that my manager actually thanked me for coming to her and taking responsibility for my mistake. I was able to find out that we didn't count the holiday, and technically, if I got it done today, that I would still be in timely. If I wouldn't have asked and done this, I probably would have maybe done it the next day. Now, by doing this, I also gained trust with my manager and I gained trust with her, being able to build that relationship. She really helped me be able to do the task correctly in a system that worked for me and not penalizing me for the mistake, but actually helping me and continue to grow. And I was nervous. I had worked at previous places where that was not the case. And I just learned that when you lead with honesty and kindness and understanding, your team will be more willing to be honest. And that really stuck to me. And it made me change my perspective and how I wanted to lead my team because I wanted my team, and I do want my team to be able to know that I will be there when these situations happen. And why did I do this? Now, I felt it was extremely important to be honest. Like I said, it's one of my top personal values. And if I expect honesty, I need to be honest and lead by example. And not only that, but take responsibilities. And I always want to be able to lead by example, knowing that what I expect is what you will get from me as well. Now, this leads into my vision statement for our team. And this is what I have. When we lead with integrity and ensure that we do the right things, no matter who may be watching, not only will we provide excellent customer service, but we will also be able to build a team and be able to surpass our goals and continue to grow. When we make decisions, we need to ask ourselves, would we do the same thing if somebody was watching or if somebody knew? I truly believe that if we do this, we will be able to meet all of our customer needs and our team's needs. And when we put this in the forefront, it will really help us to be the best at what we do and show our customers that they can trust us and that we care about them and one another. Now, I would like to talk about the different elements of emotional intelligence. The first topic that I would like to discuss would be self-awareness. But first, must understand, what does this actually mean? Well, it's being self-aware, being able to look inward, reflect on the situation, and being able to comprehend, regulating our own actions in response to the different situation. Now, being self aware, we have to really be able to look inward and ask ourselves those difficult questions. Could I do something better? What did I do good in this situation? Can you understand your own emotions of why you feel this way? And can I accurately self assess myself? Or am I taking it personal? Now, the self awareness skills that encompass this are emotional awareness, being able to accurately self assess ourselves and having self confidence. And no matter what job we do, we will have to have some sort of feedback. And sometimes it's positive and sometimes it's negative. And so, how do we handle it? And I would really like to focus in on the situation of accurately self assessing ourselves. So, when it comes to feedback, how do we handle it? And how would it exactly apply to our team? So let's picture this. Maybe you and Tim are working on a project. Now, Tim comes to you and says, "Hey, I just feel like you haven't mentally been here. And I feel like I have had to do a lot of the work." Now, it is just normal reaction to automatically get defensive. You may start to think, well, hey, I'm working on 3 other tasks that have a deadline, and I'm a little preoccupied with that. Or maybe you have some personal things that are going on in your life, and maybe you think, I thought they wanted to lead, and they didn't really seem to really want my help. Now, you can also think, maybe I've done a lot of work. I don't really know what they mean. So, being able to accurately self assess yourself would look differently in that situation. Instead, we'd have to think about the different tools that we would utilize in this self awareness and being able to accurately self assess ourselves. Maybe thinking to ourselves, am I being upset because you feel what they said was harsh? Maybe are we just assuming these things about them instead of having the conversations? Or maybe, yes, you do have 3 tasks to take care of, but did you communicate to the other person? And is it really fair, because this task also matters too? And how do we know that they are not dealing with personal things at home as well? Is it really fair to put blame on Tim, or should we really be looking and assessing our own actions? Well, being able to accurately utilize self assessment, it would really help us to see that we didn't effectively communicate with our partner and that you realize the emotional stress that you put on them, and that maybe you have fallen short, and that maybe we did assume and didn't communicate effectively with them so that we could have avoided this. Their comment was not put to put you down, but really for them to express how they felt and what they needed from you during this project. if we would have been able to effectively communicate, that maybe it would have been able to avoid this situation. And maybe you would have been able to come up with times where you were able to give that support, or them to be able to help you through the situation, or just for them to understand maybe why you were helping the way that you did. And you doing this will help build a stronger relationship, to help you be open, to be able to accurately, self assess yourself, be transparent and be supportive, and us be a successful team. It is extremely important that we are able to utilize this in self awareness to be able to be the best team that we can be. Now, another area of this is self management. And what exactly is self management? It is being able to understand our own emotions, to control them and our impulsive behaviors, but also to understand them, but also to be able to manage them in a healthy way and to adapt to when things change. There are different elements of self management, and it is emotional self control, being transparent, adaptability, achievement, initiative, and optimism. Emotions are not easy, but we do need to be able to understand them and to manage them. And why is this so important? This really helps us to not be overwhelmed, to ask for help when needed, be able to complete tasks, communicate effectively, and understand ourselves and others around, be able to have great mental health, and just overall have a great work environment. I really would like to focus in on the topic of adaptability. One thing that we can always know is going to happen is that things are going to change, and they're going to change in a work setting as well. But what do we really do when things change? Again, let's use another scenario of how this would apply in the workplace. Let's say you and Tim are working on a project, and John comes over to you and says, "Hey guys, this project needs to be done on Monday instead of Thursday, and I need you to present it because I'm going to be out." So, what do we do? Well, it is only natural. We may freak out, may cause ourselves anxiety. I know I might, and cause ourselves to maybe lose control. And then the project may come out badly or not even get done. So, what do we do if we're handling it by adapting and using self management? Well, we look at things differently, and everybody has different tools for adapting and what helps them to regulate their own emotions. For me, it's lists. So, in this situation, let's say I would create a list, and through that list, it would help me figure out what exactly would be needed to complete this task. And by doing this, I'm able to calm myself, to know if it is manageable or if I need to ask for help. Maybe I may take a mental health break to adapt. And then let's say there's too much that I can't complete. Maybe it looks like you coming to me and asking, is there anything that we can move around, or if there's things that I can help you with. But you being able to adapt to the time frame is important, and how you manage that. And by doing these things, maybe you even reach out to another coworker and be able to talk through things, to be able to mentally help you regulate and manage how you handle the situation. And once you do all those things, you're able to alleviate this anxiety and be able to have a plan that you know is going to work, and that you are going to be able to succeed because you were able to utilize those tools and adapt to the situation. And this may happen in various different situations, but really truly learning how to adapt and how we regulate ourselves in these stressful moments are extremely important, because things change and we have to learn new things, but we just have to know how to handle those change. So, a really another important area of this is social awareness. But we need to understand, what exactly is social awareness? Well, it is being able to identify, to comprehend our own emotions, but the ones around us as well. When we are able to effectively communicate and express our emotions, we are also allowed to have empathy and show empathy to each other. It is extremely important. We need this to be able to have this effective communication. All of these parts are a big part of social awareness and emotional intelligence. This just allows us to be able to be a great team and interact with each other and show this empathy. It is important to be able to do this to build relationships and to maintain them, to build trust and have openness among ourselves, our family, our coworkers, and our customers. Every day, we all use social awareness, whether or not we may realize it. And it is extremely important to be able to have with each other and our customers. And it will look different in every scenario. Now, let's see how we could use this to apply in our workplace. Now, again, let's use Tom. I know Tom has been used a lot of times, but let's use Tom, okay? Tom had a really bad day. He got up in the morning, his car didn't start. So then he had to call his wife, and now he had to wait for her to come, which caused a delay in time. Well, he finally gets his car started. Now he's a little late getting his daughter to school, and because of this, he now hits traffic, which in turn then causes him to be late for work. And he just is struggling due to all of these things going on. Now, you notice that Tom maybe missed a task on something that was important. Now, having this social awareness and being able to read a room and understand others' emotions around us, you can see he's having a bad day. You may not know why, but you can see he's not his normal self. So you have to decide, well, do I give feedback now or is this not the right time? Knowing this, you can lead with empathy and being able to read the room. Maybe you see him, like I said, you can tell he's having a bad day and you see his emotional state. He is not in a place to take feedback. So instead, you offer to help him complete the task and ask what is needed. Or maybe you just ask how he is doing and be there for him. And being able to do this is really going to help us open the door and help Tom to be able to alleviate stress. Now, depending on this, you may decide, if you're going to provide the feedback now or at a later time when it is better. This kindness goes a long way, and you being able to practice social awareness in this situation, it is going to lead so that next time Tom has a bad day, instead of maybe completing the task incorrectly, he reaches out to you, first being able to help him or just coming to you so that he is able to alleviate that stress and complete the task accurately. And also by doing this and leading with empathy, you are building trust among our team. You are able to support a transparent and supportive and is able to promote growth among each other. And it's extremely important because we are a team and all of us matter. And us being able to have this social awareness can help us really integrate as a team and become one, and knowing that we are there for each other when needed. Now that we have discussed these different parts of this, we need to see how they affect our ethical decision making and how bias play a role in this. But first, again, we need to understand what exactly is bias. So this is when we make choices due to our past experiences or with a restricted amount of information. It tends to be without our own knowledge, and that's where you hear the term of unconscious bias. So what are the different types of bias out there? Listed here are the different types of bias. There are a few others, but these are a couple of them. Now, I would really like to focus on two of them, and that being groupthink and affinity bias. But first, we need to understand what they are and how do they even apply. So, affinity bias is when you tend to maybe be drawn to people who are like ourselves and kind of steer away from people who are different. But how does this look in a work environment? It is very common when you join a new team or just in teams in general. Let's say you know that John loves soccer and has 2 kids. And guess what? Those are things that you love. You love soccer and you also have children. So you tend to talk to John more. You tend to ask him for help. You tend to do more things with John because of it. without realizing that is the reason that you are drawn to ask him for help or questions on work projects. Now, maybe Sally hates sports, but she loves reading, and you dislike reading. And so, because of this, and because there's no similarities, you tend to not really ask Sally for help or questions or anything in projects. So, because of this, it causes us, and with these differences, to cause distance and only work with her when needed. And this really prevents us from building a team together because of this, because we want to be able to help each other. So, really being aware of how affinity bias works can really help us to be able to know how to have healthy relationships and maybe go outside of that group of what you would consider to be someone who is like yourself. Now, another one that I would like to discuss is groupthink. Now, what is groupthink? Now, this is when we're working in a group setting and you may disagree with the majority group, but you find that everybody else is agreeing. And so instead of stating your own opinion, you decide to go along with the majority of the group. Now, most of us might be familiar of when this would happen in childhood and adolescence. It's very common, but it is also very common in the workplace. It is only natural for us to feel that way, to be kind of scared to maybe be different. And we might do it without even really knowing. So, how would this look in our place of business? Let's say we're all together here and we're working together on a protocol, and we're talking about if we should change it. And everybody is saying that it is good, it's great, and that nothing needs to be changed. But Tim over here thinks that it's not very great. He's had a lot of issues, and it's actually something that he's found a solution for and has a great protocol idea to be able to make this process even more efficient. That would even help the company. Now, instead of Tim speaking up and giving his idea, he now decides that he's not going to, and he's just going to go with the group. What does this really cause? This causes us for Tim to express his idea, one, and maybe come up with a great idea that everyone would agree with, and if not, but at least be able to express it. But really knowing what groupthink is can help you when you feel those situations, and the importance of you expressing your opinions. And I always want to know you guys' opinions. Everybody's opinion matters. We all don't have to agree, but we can find common ground. Now, how do these biases affect ethical decisions? They play a big role when we're making choices, and it sometimes, like I said, it's not that we even notice that we're doing it. But again, let's say we find out that someone made a big mistake and it's been corrected, but there's a protocol where it needs to be reported and documented for ethical reasons, and making sure that if it comes back later, we know what caused the delay or the issue. Well, you know that John, like I said earlier, you guys have a lot of things in common. You tend to work together. And now he normally, when he makes mistakes, he makes sure he reports it. So what do? You decide not to report it because you assume he already reported it, and that, he will fix it next time and not make the same mistake again. Well, you find out later that he did not report it. So what exactly caused us to make this unethical decision when trying to decide if it was an ethical decision or not? Well, it kind of encompassed multiple things. Optimism bias, which is assuming that they would do the best. You already know him, you know his personality, and he generally does the right things, and so you assumed. And then also the affinity bias of the fact that, again, you guys tend to mesh together, reach out, and work together because you have common grounds. Now, this unconscious bias caused us to make the wrong decision instead of following the protocol. And we might not have done it unknowingly, but it's really important that we see how these biases actually affect our ethical decision making. So another part of this is relationship management. And what that is when a leader is able to be an expert at handling relationships and managing them, but as well as in conflict and helping each other understand our differences, because we may not all agree all the time. but we need to be able to combine them to find like ideals and find something we both can embrace. Now, every single day, we have daily decisions that affect our customers, our companies, and one another. We want to make ethical choices every day. Ethics is extremely important and has a huge effect on relationship management itself. Being able to be equipped with handling conflict and helping each other understand each other, I want everyone to be able to do that because I want you to be able to feel valued among each other and from me. And being able to have a successful team and a company. Making these decisions every day, we will have to use our conscience to guide us. And when we have an effective relationship management, we can apply them to our ethics and it will build trust with our customers and allow our customers to have loyalty to us. So, how does it really affect us? It helps support a healthy environment. It helps team members to make ethically sound decisions, become more socially aware, and just build trust among ourselves, our customer, and with management. Now, how do all these things tie together? And how do we have it support a culture of caring? Well, a lot of different things. We need to make sure we're doing the right things the right way all the time and making ethical decisions when and when off the clock and making sure we are upholding the company's standard of conduct. And we need to be able to build trust with each other and as a group. And this, if we build this, we will be able to be honest and get to know each other. And that's what it's going to take, us being honest and having that open door. This in here, there will be a zero tolerance for retaliation or discrimination and making sure everyone is supported and really being able to handle conflicts by using social awareness and knowing that there isn't going to be a situation, but a support of being able to have those conflicts managed and have an environment where you can do that healthily. Now, we will use social awareness by being kind to one another and supporting each other when in a time of need. I have an open door policy, and so anytime you need anything, you can come to me. I'm always here to be of help, whether it's with work or if you're having a personal issue. I would love to be able to help you. So my door is always open. And I will do this by being honest with you guys, having integrity, being accountable, and being transparent. I expect that from all of you, and I will give it back to you and be able to build that trust and have a good relationship management goal here. Now, being able to really, practice and understand our emotions will be effective to building our communication among our team and with our customers. Now, if we live by these standards, not only will we be able to excel as a team, but we will be able to see it show up in our work. And this will transpire over to our customers and our company as a whole. We will be able to create this culture of care and be the best that we can be. And know that when we have disagreements with a customer or with another team member, or even, if you have a disagreement with me, that I will be there to support you through it and that your team will be there to support you through it. I will do this by helping you guys find common ground, help draw out those conversations, create that safe environment like we discussed to have a productive environment, no matter what it is. And I will lead with empathy and help you process emotions. This is something we all will have to work on. I will have to work on. This is something that will never stop. We will always have to learn and grow. But doing this will really help us give everyone the skills to have constructive conversations with team members and our customers. This will push the company and ourselves further and help each other and our customers to know that we will support each other even when we disagree. Now, to conclude this meeting, I just wanted to recap a couple of things and really go back and talk about the 4 domains of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Now, I would specifically really like to focus for our team is on social awareness. And I feel like this is extremely important because I feel like it really encompasses everything as a whole. And it's extremely important to me because I want us all to be able to understand each other, and being able to understand each other and support each other. I truly feel it will help our team have trust, honesty, loyalty, and growth, and overall a really positive environment. I want a place where you guys are happy to come to work every day knowing that we are all here and care about each other and that we will support each other at all times. Imagine a place where no matter what you're going through or the mistake you make, there will be someone there to support you and understand you and lead with empathy. This could look like if you're having a personal issue and it is really affecting you being able to complete a task, knowing that a team member will be there to support you in that time of need in various different ways. Or a place where maybe you make a mistake and being afraid that you may get in trouble, but actually you're not afraid because you know that you can come to me or whoever and they will lead with empathy and help you learn from your mistake and really support your growth. And again, to tie it back to the beginning of that story, that personal story, that really changed my perspective. And I want that kind of environment here. I want you to know that I support your growth and I'm here to help you, not here to make it not a safe environment, but a place where we can flourish. Because I feel if we can have this environment, we will be able to support your growth, be the best company that we can be, and be a great team. I just want to thank you guys again for allowing me to be able to introduce myself and have this meeting. I look forward to having and building a strong team and a good company, and I'm so excited to see where we go. So thank you so much, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.